I, 36F, am still kind of reeling, but also weirdly calm, like when you've prepped for a Category 5 hurricane and it finally hits. You're just in execution mode. So, background. My now ex-husband, Mark, 38M, and I were married for 10 years. His mother, Patricia, 62F, has always been a character. The kind who thinks her son is a gift to humanity and, by extension, everything he touches or marries becomes hers by proxy. About 3 weeks ago, I received news of a substantial inheritance from a distant relative. Life-changing money. I kept it very quiet, still processing. Mark and I were, unbeknownst to his mother, already divorced. That got finalized about 5 weeks back. The reason? Mark decided our marriage vows were more like gentle suggestions and had been having an affair with a co-worker, Qley, 20-something F, for the better part of the year. I found out he did the classic blubbering so it meant nothing routine. I wasn't having it. Lawyer, papers filed, divorce granted. He knew. He signed. He just didn't tell Mummy. Fast forward to yesterday. I was at my place, formerly our place, now solely mine as per the divorce agreement. I bought out his minimal share. Patricia invited herself over, ostensibly to check on me. She waltzes in, accepts a tea, and then, after about 10 minutes of small talk, drops it. Patricia, so Sarah. I've heard whispers. Word is you've come into a bit of money. A significant sum, from what I gather. Her eyes were gleaming. Not in a happy-for-you way. More like a shark smelling blood. Me? I did receive an inheritance, yes. Try to keep my voice even. Patricia leans forward. Well, that's wonderful news, dear. Absolutely wonderful. Because, that inheritance, it's our family money. A real blessing for us all, especially with Mark's little career hiccup recently. His hiccup was nearly getting fired for slacking off and inappropriate conduct related to Qley. I just looked at her. The sheer, unadulterated entitlement. Me? Actually, Patricia, there are a couple of things you might not be aware of. I reached into my bag, pulled out a neatly folded document. The original, gold-sealed, court-stamped final divorce decree, dated 5 weeks prior. I laid it on the coffee table. Me. For instance, Mark and I are divorced. It was finalized last month. The grounds were his infidelity. Patricia stared at the document. Her eyes scanned the first page. The color drained from her face. Textbook white. Patricia. Whispering divorced? No. Mark didn't. Me, he did. He signed. It's done. So, the inheritance? It's mine. Solely mine. Not family money. Her mouth opened and closed. Her phone, on the table, started buzzing. And buzzing. Caller ID. Mark. He must have gotten a frantic text from her after she saw the decree, and I confirmed the inheritance. Patricia finally found her voice, a shaky, furious squeak. You planned this. You tricked him. Me. I didn't trick him into an affair, Patricia. He managed that. I just responded to it. The inheritance occurred post-divorce. She stood up, wobbling. You will regret this. Mark will not stand for this. She snatched her purse and practically fled. My phone immediately started ringing. Mark. I let go to voicemail. Then texts. All caps. Demanding. Panicked. The calm I felt was the certainty I'd done the right thing. But I have a feeling the storm isn't over. Update 1, 1 week later. Well, folks, it's been a week. The Patricia and Mark Entitlement Tour has officially kicked off. Thanks for the support on my last post. It genuinely helped. After Patricia's dramatic exit, Mark's phone assault began. I counted 27 missed calls and about 50 texts before I blocked him. The voicemails were a mix of "How could you?" and "We need to talk about this money," and "Mom is having a heart attack because of you." Spoiler, her sister, my ex-Aunt Carol, later confirmed Patricia was just highly agitated. Aunt Carol, 60 SF, Patricia's younger sister and chief enabler, called a few days ago. Carol, Sarah dear, Patricia is very upset, and Mark is beside himself. This inheritance, surely you can see how it looks, them finding out about the divorce this way, right when you get rich? Me. Carol, Mark knew about the divorce. He signed the papers weeks before the inheritance was even a whisper. The timing of Patricia finding out is on him. Carol, but he was under stress. Men make mistakes. You didn't have to be so final. This money could really help him, help the family. Me, my finances are no longer his concern. He made his choices. The divorce is a consequence. The inheritance is mine. Carol, Patricia feels you hid the divorce to secure the inheritance. She's talking about lawyers. Sarah, saying you defrauded Mark. Me, that's absurd. The divorce was finalized before I knew about the inheritance. The timelines are clear. Any lawyer will see that. She huffed about family loyalty and forgiveness. I eventually just said, my decision is made. The legal facts are clear, and ended the call. About Mark's affair, I'd found texts on his smartwatch with Qley, sexts, meetups, complaining about me. 10 months it went on. When confronted, he denied, then trickle-truthed, then melted down when I said divorce. No fighting for the marriage, just how will this look? We had a prenup, my insistence, outlining separate property. He didn't fight the divorce much then because there wasn't a giant pile of my money on the horizon. My lawyer, Ms. Evans, who handled the divorce, is aware. She laughed at the family money comment. Let them try, she said. The decree is solid. I've since moved the inheritance into a new trust account on Ms. Evans' advice. Peace of mind. The latest? Mark somehow got my work email, sent a long, rambling message about how we made mistakes, how sharing the blessing, gag, would heal our family. Claimed Qley was just a phase. Blocked his email too. Every entitled demand just reinforces my decision. Update 2, 3 weeks later. Okay, things escalated. The entitlement is truly off the charts, and they've resorted to some scummy tactics. First, the Dirty Tricks Anonymous campaign. Got a call from my landlord about 2 weeks ago. An anonymous concerned party reported erratic behavior and financial instability, suggesting I might be a flight risk or hiding assets. This had Patricia and Mark's fingerprints all over it. Thankfully, my landlord knows me. I calmly explained, newly inherited wealth and acrimonious on their side, divorce finalized before the inheritance, and an ex-family trying to cause trouble. The complaint went nowhere. Then, the legal nuisance phase. Ms. Evans received a letter from a lawyer representing Mark, strip mall operation type. It threatened to contest the divorce settlement based on non-disclosure of anticipated assets and claimed emotional distress for Mark. Ms. Evans' response was brutally concise. Asterisk attached copies of the finalized, dated divorce decree. Asterisk attached proof of the date I was officially notified of the inheritance weeks after the divorce. Asterisk a reminder that Mark signed the settlement willingly, with his own counsel, acknowledging full disclosure of assets at that time. Asterisk a firm statement that further frivolous legal action would be met with a motion for sanctions and legal fees. No word back yet. The smear campaign with mutual acquaintances ramped up. Heard I'd done him dirty and stolen his family's future. Patricia and Aunt Carol spinning tales. I've calmly explained the truth. Mark's infidelity, the divorce, then the inheritance. Lost a few superficial friends, no great loss. But the piece de resistance came last week. Mark, having failed with calls, texts, emails, and a budget lawyer, decided on the ambush. Leaving my favorite coffee shop, and there he was, leaning against my car. Mark, Sarah, we need to talk. For real. Me, no, Mark. We're divorced. Communications via lawyers, if necessary. Mark, this isn't about lawyers. This is about us. Fairness. That money, it should have been ours. If I'd known. Me, known what? To be faithful a bit longer? My inheritance, timing doesn't change that you destroyed our marriage. Mark, he looked wounded. Don't be like that. Patricia is a wreck. She was counting on that for her retirement, for our family security, for my future. Me. Then she should have advised her son to be a faithful husband. You don't get to cheat in a marriage and then claim a prize from the person you betrayed. Mark, step closer. Just give me a portion, Sarah. For Mom. For appearance's sake. $1 million? Is that too much to ask for peace? $1 million? The nerve. Me. Mark, the only thing I owe you is nothing. Accept that. Harassing or manipulating me won't work. I unlock my car. He put his hand on my car door. Don't walk away from me, Sarah. You owe me. My comm cracked. Not shouting, but ice. Me. Get your hand off my car, Mark. You are a grown man who made choices. Live with them. You blew up your life. The only thing you're entitled to is the consequence of your actions. He looked shocked, removed his hand. I got in, locked doors, and drove away, hands shaking slightly with rage at his audacity. I've instructed Ms. Evans to send a formal cease and desist letter regarding the harassment. Final update, 6 months later. It's been about 7 months since Patricia's family money declaration. The dust has largely settled, not with a bang, but the slow deflation of an entitled balloon. The cease and desist letter worked. Mark's ambushes and Patricia's calls stopped. Aunt Carol tried one last text. Ms. Evans had a firm word with her. Silence. Mark, egged on by Patricia, did try to file something to contest the divorce settlement post-inheritance. Peak stupidity. Ms. Evans was almost gleeful. The judge saw the timeline. Asterisk divorce filed. Grounds. His infidelity. Asterisk settlement signed by Mark with his own legal representation. Asterisk divorce finalized. Asterisk notification of my inheritance weeks later. The case was dismissed with prejudice. And the best part? The judge awarded me legal fees for having to respond to his frivolous claim. Patricia was reportedly incandescent. The financial fallout from Mark. Asterisk the affair. Qley dumped him once it was clear he wasn't getting any of my inheritance. Cited his lack of ambition. Poetic. Asterisk his job. His career hiccup became a termination. Last I heard, freelance gig work struggling. Asterisk his lifestyle. Downsized apartment. Reportedly with a roommate. Patricia, I hear, still complains about how I rob her son. Her audience is shrinking, especially after the court awarded me legal fees. The revenge was simply refusing to be bullied, standing on legal ground, and letting them face the consequences of his actions and their entitlement. My subsequent good fortune stayed mine because of the law and my refusal to be a doormat. The most satisfying moments? Asterisk the dismissed court filing. Asterisk hearing Qley ditched him. Asterisk the awarded legal fees, a refund for the emotional toll. Asterisk knowing Patricia's grand plans dissolved because her son couldn't keep his zipper up. I've since used a portion of the inheritance to buy a lovely little house for myself, new neighborhood. I've traveled, focusing on my career and enjoying the peace. It was a rough ride, but I'm out the other side, stronger and richer in more ways than one. They thought I'd crumble. They miscalculated. Good riddance.